You've heard the phrase before, content is king. Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about 3 website content strategies that absolutely work and will help you grow your business. Let's get started. All right, the very first technique we're going to be using is what we call search engine optimization. So all the content you make is what actually people are searching for on Google. And you're creating content for your searchers that you hope will get them to not only engage in your brand, click on your actual link to your article or your e-commerce store, whatever it is, but then take that next step in your funnel, whether that be purchasing a product, opting in for your email list, et cetera, whatever it is going to be, right? But you're creating content so you appear in the search engines. And there's some pros and cons to this, right? The pros is that you can create clear stuff that you know that your prospects are searching for. You know there's search volume there, right? The cons are that it's kind of dry. You really have to be a good writer to get SEO content to sound good and get it effective and tell a brand story and stuff like that, right? So, you're sort of mixing the technical with the creative, right? I've seen plenty of SEO articles that are so boring. And of course, you're never really going to buy from those people. It just, doesn't really engage the prospect in the right way. They got the right technical, but no brand story as well, right? So, pluses and minuses of that, but it is a great way of creating content in a really metric-driven way. All right, our next technique we're going to talk about here is what we call problem solution content marketing. All right, so once you have the technical stuff down, you got a little bit of search volume going through SEO. Well, the next thing you want to do is start talking to the problems or the pain that your customer or prospect is experiencing that your product will solve for them. So I'll give you a perfect example from my particular business, right? So I have a business in the jazz piano space, right? And one of the problems that many musicians have, especially amateurs, is they get really nervous before they perform, right? This classic concept of stage fright, right? They're totally fine in terms of playing in their basement, but when they go and play in front of people, they get scared, what, right? So if I talk about that problem that they have, and this is a lot of people have this problem, okay? If I talk about it and then I merge in a particular story about how my product then will solve that by giving them the confidence to go out on stage and they know that everything they're playing sounds good. It's a very natural transition. Now, the cool part about this is when you really focus on the problems that you have, that your customers have, it can be really engaging for them. It doesn't really sound like a sales pitch. You're talking about problems that people have. People always want to know solutions to their problems, right? So I love to create content like this. If you can put together some content pieces that talk about the problems your customers have, these are absolute gold, next level stuff. All right, our next content marketing strategy we're going to talk about is what we call testimonial-based storytelling. Now, this has to be done in a really effective way. If you do it in a way where you just have some dude, on video, just saying, I loved John Smith's product or service, it was really cool, like boring type stuff, in front of a white wall, you're not really gonna, convince people. You're not getting into people's heart and mind and soul in terms of helping them make that decision, right? But when it's done in a really effective way, this particular content technique is absolute gold. And basically what you're doing is you're using a concept called the hero's journey. Write that down, the hero's journey, which is a prospect starting out. They're telling the story of when they were down and out, they had all these particular problems, and then they tried out your product or service and all the transformation that happened through using your product or service, right? This is a classic archetype storytelling technique that you can use. You want to make sure you're doing it in a fun, engaging way that really tells the journey of your customer. People relate to that. It's engaging. Many hit movies have been used using the hero's journey. Movies like The Matrix, right? Rocky is another hero's journey. Star Wars, we could talk for days and days about this hero journey concept, right? But again, just telling stories of your prospects and customers, it's entertaining for people to watch, but also they're seeing people succeed with your product or service. And this can make a ton of sales. So you're entertaining and also educating on your product and service, a double win, building that relationship with your prospects and customers. All right, so again, 3 different strategies: technical, SEO, Middle of the road, we're talking about pain or problem solution, and then last, this storytelling aspect through testimonials. They're all great techniques. We'll talk about more in future videos, but start with these. I think you're really gonna love the results that you see with your business.